Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome, my friends. My name is Vincenzo, and welcome to the channel. And the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. Nice and quiet. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, folks. I got so much work to do. As you know, I'm planning my trip to Portugal starting December 13. I'll be away for a month, so I've got all kinds of things to, kinds of videos to prepare for you guys. I do want to have some content going on the channel during my vacation, so I've got to prepare it all ahead of time. We're going to try to do the recaps for as long as we can, probably this weekend, which is November 30th, and next. And after that, we'll replace it with something else. We shall see. I've got my year-end annual awards as well that I've got to be looking at, and that I'm looking at, probably going to be taping in the next couple of days as well, that I have prepared for you. Got some surprises there for you as well, and I've got all kinds of reviews that will be going up during my absence in any event, so I'm going to try to make it as seamless as possible. However, the recap will not be there between December the 13th and I would say January the 10th when I'm back, so but it will be replaced with some very special content, promise. So there you have it. For this week, well, folks, it's the end of November, and it's Black Friday. That's what it's all about. So without any further ado, Fountain Pen Therapy presents the weekly recap for November the 30th, 2025. Okay, first segment, what's new in the market? Yeah, what's new in the market is Black Friday, essentially, and I'm not going to go through, I've not done an exhaustive, I wish I had the time to do it for you, review of all the Black Friday sales that are out there. It would have been ideal, frankly, but I just don't have the time, and I apologize in advance. So I wanted to show you a couple of things on the Chinese market, and then we'll deal with Black Friday very succinctly, but I have something to recommend for you. So here you have it. Why don't we go to my computer and let's take a look. First thing is this Natami. Come out with this new pen at $14. I think it's probably one of these pens, student oriented pen. I thought I'd mention it just because Natami seems to be in the mix these days. It's not something I would get, frankly, but there may be some interest out there. It's a very economical $14 pen. There you have it. So Natami's there. The next one is, I saw this, the 1861 brass. Folks, help me. I don't believe that I'd seen this before. And frankly, I think I'm going to order it. I certainly don't have it in my collection. It looks like I know I have the M2. There is a T1, but I don't believe that this was out before. If it was, I missed it, so I thought I'd mention it for you. And what's interesting at this particular, and check, I think it's sold by various sellers, but this Lido stationary store trader appears to offer the extra fine, and this is kind of like a fine medium, as probably the standard Ongdian nibs. And then they offered it in the Fude nib, but they've got the blade and the long knife options as well, so which is interesting. I'm going to go with the blade M and see what gives. I think I'm going to order that pen, but I thought that was interesting. And please let me know if the pen has been out. I'd like to know, but regardless, I think I'm going to get it, just because Ongdian hasn't really come out with much this year. The next one is this pen that I wanted to mention. Now, I will be reviewing the brand new Majon P136 in that blue finish, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But I believe that this pen, Pension, now this Pension name has come up, and it looks like they have, I don't know if they're a clone of Majon, or maybe it's the same outfit, just give it a different name. But this suspiciously looks like the red version of the Majon that I'm going to be showing you in a couple of seconds, and I thought I'd mention it, but it's interesting. I think $59 may be a little too much here for some company that I haven't heard of. Pension 146, and I guess they're trying to, they're trying to attract you through the Mont Blanc branding again. But there you have it. That's all that I have for you on the Chinese pen front. As far as Black Friday is concerned, all of the sites are offering Black Friday sales. Some of them I think are what I call bogus sales. They look at suggested retail price, which they never sell at, and give you all kinds of discounts. And I don't find that the discounts are enormous or overly attractive, and maybe I haven't looked hard enough, and I'm sure a lot of viewers will correct me on that. But or they have pens that just don't interest me. But Pen Venture, and that's what I want to get to. Pen Venture, in my view, has the best Black Friday sales. Now, by November the 30th, by the time that this video gets published and viewed, there may not be anything left. But let me tell you, he's got some really doozy sales here. He's got Leonardo's at $125, $150. He's got the Gravitas, and I might very well order it. Let me just show you the Gravitas Ultim. Now, will it still? They've got $60 for the Dinky, or 60 euros, I should say, which is roughly $65 American, I would say to you. And he's got the Gravitas Ultimate Vac Ultim at 99, so at 100 euros, roughly 150 Canadian. I think this is a deal. He's got some Scribo at very reasonable prices. He's got the more expensive pens as well. So take a look at Pen Venture. I don't know what's going to be left by the time you view this, but if you haven't seen it yet, to me, Pen Venture has got the best Black Friday sales. But there you have it. I'm going to make this nice and short. We've got lots of things to cover. So there you have it for what's new in the market. It's Black Friday, folks. You're going to have to just navigate and look at your favorite online stores and see what you can grab. But it's a good opportunity, I'm sure. And if you're assiduous enough, I'm sure you'll find the deals that you're looking for. Stay tuned for my next segment. Okay, so the next segment is what's new in the Fountain Pen Therapy studios. Well, we've got lots of things that are new. Lots of things. Some that I'm keeping for later in the year, and some that I want to show you right away. As usual, let's start with paper. Gotcha? Okay, so we'll go to my overhead camera and show you what I've got. Oops, let me just, okay, here we go. Yeah, Dingbat. I've had a few of these journal or notebooks with different animals and stuff. I think they vary depending on, you know, whether you have grids or lined. These days I'm going with lined or ruled, and I've given them away. I've never kept them, not happy with them, but that's been some time ago. I've given them to my sons who do some journaling or to-do lists, etc. I haven't done one in a long time, so I figured I'd revisit Dingbat and just give it a go and see what's up. So this is the, and I thought it was a good price, and it was on Amazon, and you'll see it in my storefront. So if you're interested, at the end of this, you can always visit my storefront. I believe you'll find it available there, and it's all in all of its options. Wildlife collection. It's 100 GCM, coated cream paper. It's lined, and we'll see. So we'll remove that. It's a hard cover. It's got a little pen holder there. I'm not sure what the size of pens that you can fit in there. So, for example, if I take this big Leonardo, it will not fit. But certainly, my new mechanical pencils would fit in there. Okay, it's got an elastic. Let's remove this for the time being. Very, very stiff and kind of a leather cover there. That's nice, I got to tell you. Very nice. Dingbat notebook. You can put your name there, I guess. And there's the lined version. Very thick paper. And what's nice is, are they all that way? No, okay. The first couple of pages, which is good because I'm going to be able to, there's kind of a seam there that allows you, I don't know if the camera picks it up, but a seam that allows you to tear it out. So that's good. We're going to do our ink swatching there. That way I could remove it and from the notebook altogether. It's got a little sleeve in the back, which is always nice to put some notes and stuff. The notebook does fairly well. It's also got a page marker here. There you go. So, I mean, the notebook itself is a very attractive notebook. I just wasn't happy with the paper, but I wanted to revisit it, and I'm not sure I ever did a Dingbat review. So there you have it. That's going to be the paper. We're going to do some writing on it. We're going to do some swatching as well, and we'll compare it to Tomoe River, and we'll take it from there. So there you have it. Dingbat is my new or this week's paper offering. Let me set up. I'll show you the inks that I want to introduce to you, and we'll take it from there. Be right back. Okay, so we're back with the inks. Now, the inks are TACCIA inks. I had these two already in my collection. In these bottles, one is the Uguisu. And it's a kind of a green, and a sushi. It's kind of a brown. And I've added these three colors to my collection, and I thought I wanted to swatch these new ones, but I figured while we're at it, we might as well also get into the new ones. Beautiful, beautiful boxes, by the way. I might end up keeping these. There's a booklet in there. We'll take a look at that later. But there you have it. Now, I've got kind of a reddish brown there. This is kind of a royal blue. And this one appears to be, let me just, and this one appears to be kind of a darker grayish blue or blue-black. Different bottles, but I've got a feeling it's just really the same line of inks, but I may be wrong. In any event, these are the 5 TACCIA inks I own now. So we'll swatch them all on that Dingbat paper and on in my ink journal while I'm at it, which is Tomoe River. So those are the inks. Should be some fun. Let me get my water and we'll start the swatching. Okay, we're all set up. Dingbat, Tomoe River. Let's start with this green. My recollection, I haven't used these inks in a while, is that these are gorgeous inks. So I don't think you'll be disappointed. I can see the red sheen on this one already. Whoa, goes down nice and smooth. That's not what I remembered from Dingbat. You know, over time, I always mention, and this applies to inks, paper, pens, you know, you get your first impression, and if you don't give it a try again, sometimes you're pleasantly surprised. So this is TACCIA. And I'm going to try to use the actual name as opposed to just inventing something, which is going to take a little while, but be patient with me. Ugui Su TACCIA, beautiful dark green. I don't know if you could see that, but that is absolutely stunning. It's a stunning green, and now I'm wondering why I haven't been using them. Let's keep going here. I think I'm going to be very, very pleasantly surprised. Whoop, it's got a little... Let me just... Okay, now we got ink all over the place, but okay. So, what do we got here? Oh yes, a very dark blue on more on the black side than on the blue side, I would say to you. Okay, so let's just see. This is TACCIA. And the name is, wow, Benny Sushi. That wasn't too bad. TACCIA. Benny Sushi. Good. 2 down, folks. Just bear with me. I'm not sure I'm awake yet. You can probably tell from my voice it's a little more subdued. We're going to give it a chance to kind of wake up, so to speak. But I'm having fun. I'm having fun, folks. Okay, so this is a kind of royal blue. I'm very surprised with this paper so far. I got to tell you, very pleasantly surprised. There we go. Wow, it comes down really, really full of color. Okay, so let's see what this blue one is called. I'm looking on the box. Ruri. Oh, this one's simple. And on the Amazon reference that I'm going to give you, you'll see there have other colors as well. I try to choose the ones that I think I will be using, you know. But take a look. There may be other colors. You know, there's lighter colors. I think there's oranges and yellows that unfortunately I'm not overly fond of. So I figure if I have to, and you know, and they're not cheap. These inks are not cheap. So if I'm going to spend, you know, a good amount of money on a bottle of ink, I should be using them. Kind of a terracotta brown. I just have the funny suspicion that these inks are just gonna flow really nicely in a pen. They don't strike me as being, dry inks. What is this one called? Oh, I think I made a mistake. Yeah, I made a mistake. This one is the Benitushi. So this is TACCIA. It shows I'm still asleep here. Yeah, and the top one, let me correct that. That way I don't bore you, and I'll be right back. So I'm back. This is the TACCIA Koiai that I've corrected, and this is the TACCIA Benitsushi. So my mistake. Took it from the box and wasn't paying attention. This is the next brown. I think this is like kind of a lighter brown or more coffee brown, I suspect, from what I could see. Yeah, that's more on the terracotta, and this is more of a standard coffee dark brown. Wow, really nice. This is an ink that I already had in my collection, and that I kind of, you put away. You have so many, and you have a tendency not to use them all, unfortunately, which is part of the course. But, it's part of owning or running a YouTube channel. You want to provide variety, and so you buy stuff, but sometimes you don't use it. So this, I just want to make sure you get the spelling right here. Sushi. So this is TACCIA. I'm really pleased with these inks. In fact, I think I might go back on the site and on Amazon and order all the other ones that I think I'm going to use, because it's a fabulous ink so far. And this dingbat paper is very, very surprising. And maybe I jumped to some conclusions that I shouldn't have. So there you have the swatching. You've got 5 beautiful ink, folks. Let's give it some time to dry. We'll come back. We'll take a look at how all this looks. Be right back. So we're back with, they're fairly dry. Tomoe River's taking a little bit too long. But as far as the green, I got to tell you, this paper really is surprising me in terms of the ink. Look at the beautiful green. It's on this one. I guess it's because this is, cream color. It's a lot more gold, golden green, as opposed to a kind of a more bluish green here. The Koiai has got that great sheen. In fact, I see more sheen on this than I do on the Tomoe River. Same with the Ruri. See the red sheen, but I've got more red sheen and more shading on this one. As far as the Benitsushi is, that terracotta brown, very similar, but again, darker. I just get a darker finish on the dingbat paper, and that sushi kind of coffee brown. See a little more shading on the Tomoe River, a little lighter, whereas it comes out a lot darker on the dingbat. In terms of what I see on the other side, I've got to tell you, mind you, this is 100 GSM, eh? But I don't see any bad stuff. I don't see any penetration at all. There's a little bit of ghosting, and there's significantly more ghosting on the Tomoe River. In fact, I even have a little bit of penetration there. But so far, this paper has pleasantly surprised me. So the great stuff is that I'm going to be able to tear it out. It's got a tear out section. Tear this sheet out so I can keep it in my swatching journal. There you have it. So those are the inks for this week. And stay tuned for my next segment. Be right back. Okay, what else have I got for you? Well, you'll remember that I mentioned that my son just back from a vacation to Japan. I said to myself, son, you're in Japan. I wish I was there. But there's this beautiful store called ITOYA in Tokyo. If you can find the time to go, because he's not a pen enthusiast or, I would really appreciate it. And I'm not going to tell you what to buy. Just kind of wing it. Try to get something that is probably exclusive to ITOYA. I gave him some general ideas. I didn't want him to spend too much money because you can get carried away. And he knew I was into mechanical pencils and notebooks and the like. So I said to him, surprise me, and that will be my Christmas gift. Early, but that way, or I'll reimburse you for whatever you spend. And you say, no, Dad, I'll do something reasonable, and hopefully I'll hit the jackpot for you or please you. So here is what he bought me. We'll do an unboxing. Okay, so this is this is the bag it came in. I'm going to keep the bag. And he FaceTimed me when he was there, and the place was a zoo. It was just a complete, wall-to-wall people, 6 floors, just incredible. That's the bill. So we're going to remove that. It's all in Japanese. Put that aside. The bag I'm going to keep just because it's, we're collectors, right? So, okay. So this is what it wrapped in. Let me just get a knife here so that we could, if I know myself, I'm going to keep the bag as well. And, this has, he's got some nice stuff here. Oh, a notebook. One box. Another box. Oh, a third thing. And another box. Wow. Surprise me. Oh, we got something else as well. What is this? Oh, this may be a bookmark. It's a magnetic bookmark. That's interesting. So let's take a look at what he's got for me here. A Lamy. It's a Lamy ITOYA. Oh, yes, I've seen these. So this must be a ITOYA exclusive. Probably a, Lamy Safari, I would hope. I don't want him to spend too much here. Yes, it is. It's a limited edition Lamy ITOYA. Now, you know what? This might get me to use my Lamy. Wow. That is really, really nice. It has Lamy on it. And there's the ITOYA. Do you see that? Very, very nice. What did he get me? He got me extra fine. Son, not extra fine. But you know what? I'll get to use extra fine. I think I may have, a total of 10 extra fine pens in my collection. I don't think he paid attention, and they gave him the extra fine. Or maybe it only comes in extra fine. Keep in mind, this is for the Japanese market. But you know what? We're going to ink that up with one of those TACCIA inks, and we'll test it later on. So very nice. Thank you, my son. Thank you. That's one. What do we got here? Oh, this is a special edition Stadler. Limited edition. I think this is another ITOYA limited edition Stadler. Wow, that is really, really nice. In this kind of gold metal. We'll review it in detail. Looks really nice. And here, yes, you've got the ITOYA Stadler. So it's an ITOYA exclusive. Limited edition of the 925-35 Stadler. Very nice. Wow. He kind of hit the jackpot, hasn't he? So far. Even this little cover has got ITOYA on it. So far, so good, folks. What else we got? Ooh, another Stadler. Yes, I think this is another. This is the hexagonal Stadler pen, which I think I've shown you a couple. I have a few already. But this is the ITOYA. Yeah, once again, let me see if you can see that. It's the ITOYA exclusive. Wow, with this gold and with this white, that is really nice. My God, he's really hit the jackpot. There you have it. Pencil, mechanical limited edition. So another ITOYA special. Yeah, he knows that I kind of, resurrected my love for these mechanical pencils. And I was mentioning to him that it goes to my childhood. Another one. Ooh, an Acro Drive. That is interesting. Let me just... okay. How do I get this out? Here we go. It's a Pilot. That's interesting. I haven't seen this before. Oh, I guess it's a ballpoint or a roller ball. Pilot, Japan. Yeah, that looks like a really, really nice. Wow, that it feels so good in the hand. You know what? We'll try this out as well. We'll put this on the side and we'll give it a go on that dingbat paper. So, very nice. Very nice. I actually, you're wondering why not fountain pens. It's my fault, I told them to stay away from fountain pens because I went on their site and realized that, you know what, the fountain pens weren't exactly cheap. And I could probably get them cheaper from here, even calculating shipping and the like. So he stayed away, but I think that Safari was at a good price point, and it's an ITOYA exclusive. So, oh yes, this is the Romeo. This, I think, is the ITOYA paper, if I'm not mistaken. So this looks really, really nice. He got it in the ruled, which is good. And let me tip it. Actually, you know what? Yeah, can we open it up? No, we're going to reserve this for another time. We'll open it up maybe and we'll use it for maybe one of my last recap before I go on vacation. But there you have it. Very nice for my son. I think he hit the jackpot. What do you think, folks? Thank you, Mats. Thank you very much, Matthew. Very nice. You've really pleasantly surprised me. And not with just one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the little bookmark as well. So I think he's hit the jackpot. There you have it. Greatly appreciate it. But I gotta tell you, I wish I was there. He also went to Kobe. Kobe has, I think, one of the shops there that's, little hole in the wall, but it's fabulous. And he went to several other places that had all these major stationery stores, but I just didn't want to interrupt it. He was there with a couple of friends who were, again, I didn't want him to monopolize the time. They stayed there for 10 days. Japan is a wonderful place, lots of places to visit, and I didn't want to, interrupt their schedule. They did take the time one evening to go to ITOYA for me, which was a little bit out of the way. And so it was greatly appreciated. And I knew that there would have been something for him there as well. And I understand he bought something for, and so did his friends, frankly. I think you can't help it when you go into I think it has 6 stories or 7 or something like that. You go in there and there's all kinds of stuff. You're bound to come out with something. So there you have it. We'll be right back with the rest of my pen haul. Let me just gather my thoughts here, and we'll show you what else we got. Be right back. Okay, we're back with my own pencil and pen haul. So let me go to my overhead camera. First thing, as you know, I'm working on a video reviewing my retractable pen collection, and thought that I add some that I was missing. This looks familiar, but it's not the Curidas. This is the Lanbitu 3086, is it, or 88, which looks suspiciously similar to the Curidas. There is the Curidas, and there is the Lanbitu. Very, very similar, I got to tell you. But there you have it, and thought I add that to my collection, so we've put in that one added. The next thing is I'm also working on a hooded nib pen collection video, and I was missing this Wing Sung 6001 or 601. So there you have it. We're gonna try that baby out. I did ink it. I did choose to get it in the metal version. As I know they sell various versions, the 601. I also have the 601A, which is a different nib, but it's got that juicy medium nib. Maybe we'll show it to you on some of the writing samples we'll do later on. So I got the 601, which is very nice. I don't think I'm going to do a separate review on this because it will form part of that hooded nib collection video, which probably will get done in the new year. And last but not least, I'm really happy with the next pen. Hopefully it won't disappoint when it writes. But this is the new Majon P136 in this blue finish. I gotta tell you, this is, you don't feel the texture, so you just see it. It must be coated with something around it to give it, kind of acrylic. So the coatings, and that's why I was saying it looks suspiciously similar to that Pinchu that I showed you earlier in red. This will form part of a detailed review, so stay tuned for that. Probably go up this week if I have the time. Looks suspiciously familiar, like a titanium section. It's just not steel, I don't think. Usually get them with that lemon and polished medium nibs, but I figured save a few bucks, almost like $20, and go with an actual Moonman nib. I haven't bought one Majon pen with the actual Moonman nib and a 1.1 stub. We'll see if they've improved or if I was mistaken. I do have other lemon nibs, so if I want to swap, I can always do that later. But I think this is a gorgeous addition. I really like this pen. So we will probably go up, if I have the time this weekend to finish the video, it'll probably go up next week, in the middle of the week sometime. So there you have it. Those are, in essence, my own purchases, if you will, this week. So those are the 3. And we're going to ink some of them up, ink that Safari up, and we'll do some writing. So stay tuned for my next segment. Be right back. Back for the next segment, we'll be redoing pen revisiting. Got a few things to show you and to highlight. The overhead camera with that Dingbat journal. Let's see how it writes. Here's a journal. By the way, the cutout was very nice, very easy, very simple. So we got that swatching out of the way. And let me just here close up a little bit so we can do some. Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, let's see how this Lani B2, or I keep getting it, Lan B2 3088 writes. It is an extra fine, so I'm not expecting the best in terms of my own writing experience, but is it Lan B2 or Lani? Just Lan B2. So this is the very dry Lan B2 3088, especially on this paper. Wow, it's not very disappointing so far. I think this is an extra fine. Or maybe this is why I didn't like this paper. I don't know. I think it's the pen. Yeah, there's kind of a coating on this paper that makes this just slide. But I mean, if you liked an extra fine, this is what it's all about, right? There was a little bit of a false start there, but it is what it is. Let's compare it to the Kurdas. I don't know if this thing is still inked, but this is the Platinum. Again, another false start. This is a fine, so I think you could see it a little bit better. Now, people say, why do you keep writing fountain pen therapy? Just that it's kind of a baseline for me to test my pens. So sorry for the repetition, but it kind of gives me an idea of how I'm going to feel with the pen. What else have we got? We've got the 601. Looks like a really nice pen. Let's hope it writes. So this is the Wing Sung. Oh yeah. 601. And this is again a fine. Writes very nicely. Yeah, very nice. Bunch of fine pens, folks. I'm not going to show you how this writes because that will form part of my, and I haven't inked it yet, part of my detailed review. We'll take a look at that during the week. Let's take a look at this ball pen. How does this, okay, it's a twist. Again, it's a Pilot Drive. No, I've heard of this. So this is the, yeah, very nice. Pilot Drive. And it's a ballpoint. Writes very nicely. I like the color as well. Very nice. This is a pen that you can bring to the office. In my case, use it often where I can't use a fountain pen. So thank you very much to my son. Very nice. Now, what else I wanted to show you? Well, talking about fine nibs, I brought back and I took out two pens that I wanted to revisit. And this is this Platinum 3776. And this has a fine, if I'm not mistaken. No, it has a medium, but these Platinums 3776 have a tendency to write very, very, very fine. So this is a Platinum, and I was pleasantly surprised. And I said to myself, why am I not using these pens? In this kind of a red and gold trimmings, I love this pen. In terms of its look. And you know what? In the new year, I think I'm going to review this pen. I don't think I reviewed it when I bought it. Very nice. Take a look at that. With that beautiful nib. And I said to myself, you got to be kidding me, Vince. You should be using this more often. And what spurred this on was that all week I used pens, pilot pens, that kind of wrote fine. And I'll get to that in a second. And it just inspired me to take a look at some of the fine nibs that I have in my collection. And this one kind of stood out as a pen that I haven't used since I bought it. And I don't understand why. And that kind of also triggered me having to revisit my much maligned Waterman Corinne that I was disappointed with. And said to myself, well, maybe I should just ink that pen up again and write with it and see where I stand and if I've changed my mind. And I have. I don't know why I said anything negative about this pen. I think the problem was that I was writing at that point with a Waterman Edson. And if you go from Waterman Edson to this, then you have there's no alternative but to be disappointed, frankly. And that goes for any pen. But I took this out and I said to myself, wow, you were mistaken, Vincent. As many of you have pointed out to me when I made some of those negative comments. I wasn't overly disappointed, but somewhat disappointed. And I said, so maybe it's fine. Maybe I should get myself a medium. And I'm still looking for medium and broad. And if I can find another deal, I will certainly buy another one. But I thought I'd revisit that for you because I was wrong. So this is going back to my revisited collection, and maybe even we'll put it in our daily drivers sometime very, very soon. And that brings me to discuss why I chose to revisit those pens. And that was because during the week, I found myself writing with this custom 743 and the 742. And I realized a couple of things. First of all, they're beautiful pens, as you all know. So this is the Pilot. Now this has the 14 karat FA nib, which is a really flex instrument, more flexy than the 743 that I'm about to show you. But what I realized that these pens, as much fun as they are, or these nibs I should say, not very practical for long writing sessions. Although the 743 may be a little more. This paper is great, by the way. I don't know why I had negative things to say about it, or first impressions anyway. So I'm kind of writing fine, a little finer with this in my agenda in my notebook, but I found myself not being able to write with this on cheaper paper because it was just kind of ghosting everywhere, and that's when I said, you know what, on this cheap paper I think I need either very special inks or maybe a finer nib. And that's when I took out my Platinum and my Corinne and used it for part of the week and had some success with it. But It also got me to realize that maybe I need to get other nibs, kind of regular pilot nibs, because all of my pilots, other than my 823, and even there I have a broad, I perhaps don't have the right nibs to make these things daily drivers. So I may very well, for example, get a 912 but put in a regular nib with it, and maybe another pilot pen with just regular medium, for example, or a regular fine, as opposed to these flex, because it would be, unless I can get the nibs separately, but I don't believe the nibs are sold. Pilot custom nibs are sold separately. So there you have it. It also got me to revisit another, which is this fake Mont Blanc that I mentioned and reviewed. So this is the MB 149. So it's a fake 149 with this fine nib. And I realized that this thing is really nice. The nib is spectacular. And why did I not see this? I may have seen this. I forget what I said about this nib, but it even has, do you see that? It even has a little bit of a spring. Look at that. Is it because I've been writing with it now and it kind of loosened up? But let me tell you, nothing wrong with this nib. At $40, they even put the Mont Blanc logo on it. I can't believe it. So anyway, so I kind of revisited these three fine nib pens to my great surprise and enjoyment. What else have I got for you that I wanted to discuss with you? Oh yes, I need to definitely discuss a pen that I reviewed this week, which is this Jinhao 9019. A lot of comments. The price is a little hefty for a Jinhao. A lot of people said maybe with that nib, see if you could fit it into more, for example, an Asvine titanium V200. But I haven't tested it. I haven't checked if that's a possibility. But I have a lot of fun with this. And yes, it's a kind of a flex nib that's not, it's a false flex, if I call it that. In other words, this is Jinhao. See, right off the bat, it gives me a very thick line. So it doesn't go from a very fine, stiffer nib with a light hand to a more line varied, thicker line on the downstroke, for example, when I flex the pen. So it does give me a thicker line, but as many of you have pointed out, I have a tendency to have a heavy hand, and with my heavy hand, it's difficult. I have to really write lightly with it. Otherwise, it's too thick. So you can't appreciate the line variation as much. So it's definitely not like a flex nib like the vintage nibs, but if I can get to write, you see, even write a little softer, but if I write normally, see, especially on the downstroke, it will give me a bold or a broad line. The fun part of it is that it gives me great, with the right ink, it gives me great shading. I still think this pen is worth every penny, folks. Take a look at my review if you want more details, but I know there's another nib that's a little lighter in terms of the flexibility. They call it not the Ultra Flex, but maybe the Super Flex, which is not as flexy apparently. Maybe that's the one that should be preferred over this one. But I thought I'd revisit. I think it doesn't leak. Look at this. Just beautiful. It's become a great, I like the way the ink gushes. Very, very nice. Now, what I did notice is that I asked myself if the feed had been modified. Now, where's my feed? So I changed the feed. I put a regular Jinao number 8 sized feed in there. This was the feed that was there before. I can't see major modification other than they broke off the kind of a nipple there. They may have manipulated that line right there to give it more flow. So I said, well, okay, I need less flow on this pen because it's a gusher. Let me replace the nib that came with the feed with just a regular feed, Jinao feed. And you know what? I get the same result. So I'm not even sure I did notice that there was some modification here and that the nipple got torn off. But you know what? In terms of result, you saw it. It's just as gushy. So yeah. Now, what would happen if I would replace the eyedropping with the actual converter that comes with this? Will it decrease the flow? But there's no railroading really to speak of with this pen, so I recommend it. But it's interesting, all interesting comments I received from the review. What else have I got for you? Yeah, my Gravitas Monster. Some people mentioned why they got leakage as well. So far, so good. It hasn't been leaking, but I was forced to close it. And I think what happens is if you warm that up sufficiently enough, and if you got a lot of ink in there, it might just burp on you. But it's kind of, I've shut the valve now, so this is wow, on this paper it just slips. And I have less leakage into the cap. And then you can open it up as you need the ink because there are 2 chambers in there. That's the beauty of this pen. Again, very slippery, but still one of my favorite writers when you get used to it quickly. So that one I wanted to revisit. Clutch pencils. Yeah, in terms of pencils this week, I mean, I've got all those pencils that my son bought me, but I wanted to comment on a couple of reviewers say, what about these clutch pencils? Well, here you have it. Here's one of them, okay? This is a 4B, so this is huge, as you can see, and the clutch works that way, and you've got these big leads. How does it write? Let's see how it writes on this. So this is a 4B clutch. I think little use, unless you sharpen that thing, little use on an everyday basis. This is more for maybe drafting or, coloring or drawing than actually daily writers. Okay, but that's one of them. The other one I have is this one. I don't have any nibs in there because the same nib is. This is a smaller size. I think this was a 3, or if I'm not mistaken. So this is another clutch. So I guess with these clutch pencils, you need to keep them sharpened. And I know that the kit that it came with. Let me just see if I could find it. Yeah. this is the kit that he came with. So he came with actually with an eraser as well. I should have the eraser not too far away. Came with this eraser and that sharpener and a bunch of leads. And I guess you got to keep it sharpened. If you can keep it sharpened, then it does serve a purpose. You could still write with it. I guess the real test would be to get one of these big, and is this a hard lead or a soft lead? It doesn't say, unfortunately, or if it does, it's no, I think all the options they offer are B. So they're all soft. But I'm wondering if you can find these big nibs, big leads with hard, with an H. So it would be a lot lighter. But if you keep them sharpened, they're okay. And you'll never, break this lead. There you have it. Okay, so those are the clutch pencils I have. A big clutch pencil that I have in my collection. I thought I mentioned that for the viewer that asked me to comment on it. Do I have anything else for you on the revisit front? Oh, just one thing I wanted to mention. I'm planning my vacation. As you know, I'll be away for a month. And one of my predicaments is, what do I bring with me? And what pen case do I use? What journal should I bring with me? And what pens should I bring? Now, the classic answer is bring vacuum fillers that you can shut off valve. You've got the Wing Sungs, you've got the A23, maybe even that Gravitas, and the Asvines. What do you suggest? I'm not overly worried. I think I've got sufficiently nice pens that I can take care of them and make sure they're pampered when they're on the plane for 6, 7, 8 hours. But I'm at a loss here. I've got so many pens and I enjoy so many of them and I'm not going away for a week. I'm going away for a month. So any suggestions, you let me know. I think the journal, I know what I'm going to bring with me. But let me know. And maybe I want to do some impromptu shorts from the golf course with my pens. My son's got something in his mind. I don't know what he's going to do, but he bought all kinds of equipment to film. We'll see what gets done, if anything. But if you have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments. Greatly appreciate it. So we'll be right back for my next segment. Back for my next segment. What are my weapons for next week and what's going to be my theme? Well, I was inspired by a video that I saw from my friend Hemingway Jones. He put up a video this week titled Top 5 Fountain Pens I Am Thankful For, to celebrate Thanksgiving, the American Thanksgiving, because the Canadian Thanksgiving is way gone. So here are the pens I think I've chosen. I have 9 writing instruments that I'm thankful for, and I'll explain to you each one. I'll explain to you why. So without any further ado, let's go to my overhead camera. We'll do some writing, and we'll show you what pens I've chosen. And there were many more, but I've stuck to these. So let's go to my overhead camera. Well, first of all, let's take a look at this Lamy ITOYA. I don't know if it's going to write because I realized it doesn't come with a converter. It came with a long cartridge, a Lamy cartridge. I've put it, upside down. Hopefully, let me just test the ink to see if, yeah, it's gone. So I'm thankful for this. My son got this. It's an exclusive ITOYA Lamy. So let's start with that. So this is a Lamy I'm not overly disappointed with this extra fine nib. If it writes nice on this notebook, which is a coated paper, I think that on let me just take out my Tomo River notebook. It's probably going to be a lot wetter. Let me just, here's my Tomo River daily fun notebook. This is where I put in all my thoughts. It's kind of, as I mentioned, I journal about pens as opposed to about my life. So let's try this. Oh, it's a pretty equivalent. I thought it would go down a lot wetter. I mean, it is an extra fine, but it's writing really nice. So you know what? There you go. That's one pen that I'm extremely grateful. Thank you very much to my son Matthew. So there you have it. That's number one. What do I got next? Oh, and something I hope all of these pens write. This is the Delta Napoli, which was sold exclusively by Goulet Pens. I couldn't get my hands on it because Goulet Pens doesn't deliver. And one kind viewer, and she knows who she is, was kind enough to gift this to the channel or to me, and bought the pen and have it delivered to me. I thought that was gracious of her. Really appreciate it. So if there's a pen that I'm thankful for, well, definitely this is one of them. This is now let's just see, it may not write because I haven't written with this. There may not even be any ink. Yeah, there's no ink. So let me just ink this up and we'll be right back. So we're back. Yes, Delta Napoli. Yeah, there was hardly any ink left, so this is, wow. It's got a, is it an extra fine flex or just a fine flex? But it's got a Yowo flex nib. Perfectly tuned. I've decided that if I'm going to get a Yowo nib, these flex nibs are nice. They're just soft, really. They're not really, but they provide enough fun in terms of softness that they're a nice writing experience. So thank you very much to that viewer. Just a beautiful, gorgeous pen, the Delta Napoli. So we'll put that aside. Next one is another Delta. This is a Delta, my Delta Lex. The reason why this pen is special, does it write? Yes. So this is Delta Black Lex. It's got that stub 18 karat fusion nib from Delta. Well, apart from being a pen that I celebrate because it, as being a lawyer, it's got that motif, the law motif. It's also one of the first pens that I bought that kind of, led me in this rabbit hole called fountain pens and this journey. So I'm thankful for this pen because this one, along with the Delta Malfi Magnifica, but I chose this one, are, my first purchases and the ones that kind of led me to believe that there was a lot more to these fountain pens that meets the eye. So my Delta Lex. Another Delta, which is this Delta Reserve. This was gifted to me by Nino Marino. I mentioned to him, where can I get when it came out? where can I get one of these pens? And he said, don't worry about it, I'll send you one. And this is the Delta Reserve very nice nib. I think he had this nib tuned by his son, who is by now should be a nibmeister, and it has that special converter. Lots of ink. I haven't written with this pen in ages, and it writes beautifully right off the bat, and there's plenty of ink in there. So my Delta Reserve. Let's keep going down the Delta. As you can tell, Delta is my favorite pen company. This is my Grail pen of all time. This is my Delta. Does it write? Yes, it does. Dolce Vita. Oversize. Original. Not the new DVs that have come out. With this 18 karat fine nib. Just absolutely exquisite. Now that's a pen, folks. What else have we got? Well, we're going to keep going with the Delta. This you've seen and you've heard me several times. This is my Delta. This nib is just amazing. Napoli C. It's one of one. There's only one in the world of this pen. Gifted to me by Nino Marino when I visited his factory. He had this pen specially made for me from the special resin that it kind of a couple of bars that he had left. And this is a Napoli C. There's only one, with a beautiful 18 karat original 18 karat Delta nib, finely tuned or specially tuned by his son. And let me tell you, this nib writes like a little bit like a sailor nib, and it's got some spring to it as well. By the way, this DINGBATS journal is fabulous. I don't know what came. Maybe I ordered the wrong one, and maybe this is different. But I really enjoy this journal, so it's going to be one of my favorite, I gotta tell you. Anyway, back to my pens. Yeah, beautiful. Just one of one. It's got an inscription somewhere where it says one of one. It's got my initials as well. He inscribed my initials on it. I forget where he put it. Must be somewhere here. There it is. You can't really see it, but it's right there. Napoli C, one of one. Cherish it forever. What else do I need to be grateful for? Having this pen. I finally took the jump. I was in Rome, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try out a Visconti. And I fell in love with it immediately. I bought this at the Novelli shop in Rome. I tested it. This nib is fabulous. Certainly didn't get any of those nibs that people complain about, which I think is a fallacy these days. The recent nib offerings from Visconti are up to par. I think the past is behind them, but it lingers. And I think I'm fortunate to own this Grail pen. So I'm thankful for that. The next pen that I'm thankful for is a pen that was gifted to me by my wife. Actually, two of them. The first one is my Montblanc 149. So this is the Montblanc 149 gift from wife. Beautiful pen. Perhaps overpriced, but some may say the ultimate pen. And I had forgotten, she had also gifted to me this, actually, one second. She had gifted me, prior to the 149 is recent, I think this was probably when I graduated, this Montblanc, and it's, you know, a 146 size, but it's a ballpoint. So we'll put that in my case for this week. Very nice. Nice cart. They have nice refills, Montblanc, along with the pencil. And the pencil is a .09. So now that we're into pencils, this is my Montblanc. I don't know if they call it the 146. I think it's the 146 size pencil. It's a .09, so much thicker. There you have it. There you have it. Now, the last pen that I think I'm very grateful for is my Waterman Edson. Grateful because I think I got a great price for this pen. And grateful because I got it in stub, which are not easy to find. So I think they're not easy to find. Waterman. Look at this. I haven't written with this in months. Edson. Very, very nice. Now I could have added my, you know, my King of Pens. I could have added my Pelican M1000, but I had to stop somewhere. This may actually overshadow this as the ultimate Grail pen, but we shall see. We shall see. I'm working on a video, so stay tuned for that. In any event, those are my pens for, or my weapons for next week. So these are it, folks. These are my weapons for next week. I'm going to enjoy them. Thank you to everybody and everything that inspired or led me to have and own these pens and enjoy these pens. I'm going to enjoy them during the week. So there you have it. Stay tuned for my next segment. Okay, so we're back with the last segment of this recap, which is YouTube reviews. You know, it's quiet. It's quiet. I'm not sure why, but it's quiet. But I have two videos. I mean, Hemingway is never quiet. Hemingway Jones got videos for us all the time. And take a look at the one where he inspired, as I mentioned, my weapons for next week. His video on the top 5 pens he's grateful for. I'm not going to, spoil the video. Take a look at that. It's just Hemingway at his best. Second thing, I was also intrigued by SBR Brown's video on his #1 favorite filling system. There again, I'm not going to spoil the video. I'll invite you to take a look at it. Those are the two videos that I enjoyed this week more than others. And as far as my videos are concerned, of course, we had the recap of last week, which are always useful. They're not time-oriented at all, other than, what's new in the market. The rest serves its purpose. There's 4 or 5 separate videos in there for enjoyment and information purposes. And, of course, I've reviewed the 9019 Flex, which has become a very nice pen for me, a lot of fun, and which I recommended. What's coming up? Well, as I mentioned, we have that Majon P136 Blue that we just received that may very well find its way into next week's repertoire. Otherwise, there's my Hero 1000 10-carat nib, which is out there ready to be published, along with my review of my recently received Vizier Checkmate 2.0, which will find its way into our programming sometime very soon. So there you have it, folks. Another recap has gone by. It's November 30th. Tomorrow's December. We're getting into, Black Friday will soon be truly behind us. I made a mistake last week. I said it was behind us, but it wasn't. Now it's truly behind us, and Christmas is coming up. So always a reason to find fountain pens. Enjoy your pens. Please subscribe, and if you like this channel, I ask you to ring that bell and make a comment. Send me your comments. They fuel the channel. I love them. So they're welcomed. Grazie molto. Thank you very much. Have a great week, and we'll see you sometime soon.